What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Real Build. I'm your host, Bill Ryman, your broker builder. And today I am finally joined by Kellie Felt. How you doing?
Nervous.
She is nervous. She is nervous, but we finally got her in here. She is our selections coordinator at RK Ryman Construction, and that's what we're going to highlight today. Kind of the step-by-step process of what you do. It is, I like to call you kind of the central hub of the business. I think everything flows through you guys and what you do, and it's like you are that stopping point to kind of disperse everything out to everybody. So big role within the business. We're going to highlight that today, but before we get started, you know the routine: like, share, comment, subscribe, follow on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen the past episodes, these are all great. They're all on there and all podcast platforms. With that being said, Jay, kick it off. The Real Build is about building better culture, leaders, visionaries, community to better serve the client. I'm your host, Bill Ryman, your broker builder, and I'm here to showcase real business owners building companies with integrity, trust, and a commitment to making a positive impact. Join us as we explore their stories, insights, and strategies for success. With that being said, welcome to The Real Build.
Well behind, so live a life you will remember.
All right, so let's get into this. But before we get started, let's highlight you a little bit. Your background, where you came from, and then why or how you got into the position of selections coordinator with the team.
Okay. Well, initially, I started working with you guys as your decorative lighting facilitator, let's call it that, at a company in Naples. And I worked with you guys for, maybe 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Through all of your projects, decorative lighting, interior, exterior, fans, all that. So I got pretty familiar with how you guys operate with that kind of selections as well as your blueprints. So when I informed you guys of when I was planning to leave that company, I got reeled in right away.
Called her in 2 seconds.
And the incentive and the opportunity that you guys had presented to me, which was a little bit of a shocker, was something that I didn't see myself able to step away from. The role was just really enticing to me with the background that I'm coming from that built me up to wanting to get more into that kind of interior field of adding all those layers with the design and how homes get pulled together. Was just something that I was really interested in. Mm-hmm. So with this opportunity to work within your guys' company, which I've loved working with you guys that whole time I was doing your lighting, I knew it was just a great company to step into. And instead of staying home with the munchkin, I decided to jump back into a new field.
I wanted to go and highlight you a little bit more too, because one of the reasons, like, I picked up the phone right away too, and is like you were one of, if not like, our clients always raved about you. You know, you were like one of their favorites that during the selection process, and Liz would always say this too, like, she's like, Kellie's great, she's responsive, like the clients all love her. Like the experience the clients always had with you was like top notch. And they all would comment on that too. So when you were leaving that company, I was like, man, what you could bring to the table for our team was, and you have, is huge, just because your organizational skills, just your response, like how professional you are. So I just wanted to comment on that and highlight, you know, we're very grateful that you came into the picture. Now you've kind of gone into a part-time role, spend more time with the little munchkins too, because this role is a lot. And, you know, we didn't want to see you leave as well. Like, so you're a part-time role now. You're still handling 4 jobs now, or 3 jobs as we speak too.
Technically, but yes, I still take on more.
Yeah, and more. Just throw that out there too. But you just because of how you've done things and, you know, you manage things and so on too, the clients really enjoy working with you. So I want to commend you on that. Talk about kind of that transition from that lighting company into this company a little bit. And, coming into this, obviously there was a lot that you had to figure out. Liz helped, but then you've kind of molded it into your own. So talk about that and how you've kind of created this into your own thing and your vision and where it's going now.
Yeah. I think stepping in and having a little bit of that knowledge with the electrical aspect of it, having that background definitely helped. But I'm a very kind of hands-on, deep dive learner. I like to know all the intricacies, all the aspects of everything that's going into it. So anytime I'm bidding something out, I want to know how it's made, how it's getting installed, as well as code compliances, so that I have all the answers for the clients as they pop up while we're doing our selections, and I know what questions to ask when I'm bidding things out for them. So the learning curve was all those other little intricacies that I wasn't familiar with, that I had to learn and just take all that extra time to know kind of everything about it. So coming from, I'm a lighting rep, now I want to be able to learn everything about appliances, everything about a plumbing, carpentry, all this kind of installation work that goes into, like tile, drywall, everything that's going into the home that I have to touch before it gets to the field. So that was a big learning curve for me, but I think over the 2 years now, I have a good grasp on everything. There's still things that you're constantly learning, which is a plus to this position because it doesn't get stagnant. It doesn't get boring. Clients want different things, different designs, different elements put into the house. So that keeps it interesting, which I love.
And going back into the learning thing, our learning part that you talked about there too, it's so critical in your role. It's critical in the whole company's role too. I mean, we're always learning. I'm still learning. I've been in this business almost my whole life, and I'm like, there's always something different that we come across, or a problem that we need to solve, or how are we going to come up with the solution to this? And it's just part of this business. And that's the one thing with you, when you said you were hands-on and you're a hands-on learner, like we knew that going into this role, when we hired you too, it's like, we need somebody that's like that, that's willing to learn, that's willing to level up, that, and you and I have talked about it in the past too, like your role doesn't stop where it's at. It's a continuous growth experience to where it's like, the more the company grows, and eventually you come back full time. We'll see when, but there's always room for growth for you too. Talk about a little bit like the day in the life of what you do, so people understand it a little bit more. All the details and the things that go into it, because it's like you hear selections coordinator, and like if I'm in a sales meeting, I try and explain what you guys do, but in a brief way, but it's hard to do that. So talk about that a little bit.
So essentially, we are with the clients from start to closing. We handle the organization and the documenting of all the selections that we go through, any kind of notes, any change orders that we need. We are the middleman between the client, the field, as well as our subcontractors. So anytime we have say a selections meeting, we have to document all the things that they wanted to pick out, or options for that aspect that they wanted to pick out, bid those out to present to the clients, those choices and options, and then go back and forth discussing with them until they finalize those selections. There will be changes. There will be things that they'll come to you and be like, hey, what did we talk about? And that's where being a diligent documenter and note taker is, because that's part of the position, is documenting all those notes so that the client doesn't have to, so that they know, I don't have to worry about it. Kellie's got it handled. If I have a question, they can come straight to me, because I pride myself on my organization and my note taking, so that they don't have to worry about that they have to do it to make sure that things aren't getting implemented. Now, not to say that they shouldn't anyways, because it's your home. You should, but that's what part of this position is as well, is making sure that things are getting implemented in the way that we discussed and that the clients wanted. So day to day is just kind of going back and forth, bidding things out with the clients, discussing elements that they want to put into the home and getting it done.
Mm-hmm. And I think it also goes into that next phase too. Is like the team, the supers, the field,
Yeah.
like they're always reaching out to you,
Yep.
like, hey Kelly, what's going on with this? Hey Kelly, and then you guys have to be out involved in the field, looking at the tile, looking at this. Why is this way? And one thing too that you're very good at is questioning things too. This goes for the clients that are watching this. Like, you consistently, you'll check things, and then you'll ask questions of why is it this much when it was this much before. Then you'll call me, and then I'll deal with that side of things too. But it goes back to, we work for the client. We're not in this for ourselves. It's like, we're here to help you. We're here to guide you. And with your position too, it is like that step-by-step guide, to where everything is detailed, everything is documented, to where we know, so there's no questions asked. So if there's a question, we have it, you have it somewhere.
Yep.
We just had an instance where we got to go back and look for some stuff recently. And it's somewhere in the archives of the emails, the many emails that are out there.
But I have them.
Yes, and we have it, and we have the proof of it too. So it's such a detailed role, and it's not just like a design role. It's almost like you're just that internal guide of the company. Goes a long way.
It's the name of the position. I coordinate all of the selections. So whatever they want implemented, whether they're using an interior designer or what, if they're not, then if they ask me questions on design elements, yes, of course I'll give my input and we can work together on making it perfect to the way that they want it. But coordinating the selections, bidding things out, that's the main key role.
Go into that a little bit too, like the design aspect of it. So if there isn't an interior designer, I've been asked this a bunch of times, can the selections coordinator help me design my house?
Yes, of course. I mean, being in this role, it's a part of our life, is seeing all the new design elements that come and go, and knowing kind of what works well together. Coming from an art background, colors and color theory and doing those kind of tonal things for me come a little bit easier. So when it comes to helping clients that don't have a designer, yes, it's definitely a joint effort, because we're not interior designers. We don't have that extra knowledge, that background of, building the whole scope like the designers do. But we can definitely work with them one-on-one and help them put these elements together to the way that they want or have envisioned, and going off of their ideas. Pinterest is a huge thing. Clients will bring those to us and be like, you got a Pinterest board of design ideas that you want? Absolutely. We can 100% go off of that, find things that work within that design element and pull those together.
We've brought how many Pinterest pictures to life? I don't know. Yeah, can you do
Kudos,
this?
Pinterest.
Yes, we can do it. Talk about some of the exciting parts of the selections position, those phases, those decisions that clients get to make.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of meetings that we do throughout the entire build, as well as staying in contact on a daily basis. But we have our main selection periods: first round, second round, electrical walkthrough, third round of selections, which is pretty much our last meeting that we have with the clients, as well as little site visits to get them down to finalize paint finishes and things like that. But the exciting thing is going through those rounds, getting to meet the clients, getting to kind of know what they do and do not like, elements that they want implemented, picking out and seeing all those finishes that they want to use, tile and all the countertops and all the beautiful things. And then when you finally get to see them start getting installed and put to life, and you really then in field get to see everything going in. I'd say that's probably the most exciting part of the job. You really get to see all that hard work getting installed.
Yeah, it's a lot of steps to finally get to that
Yes.
too, which is I've talked about that, like from the initial plans to, you know, the middle phases to all the way finally seeing these things finished product come to life is like one of the best things, and for clients too.
Yeah.
I want to also go into like, what do you think overwhelms the client or clients the most as far as your process, and how could we simplify those things?
I think sometimes clients may get overwhelmed and think, why are we making these selections so early on in the
Yeah,
process? But the way that we do this system, the way we have done it for however many years, it works because it's a trickle effect. We pick out all your appliances, we pick out all the plumbing within that first couple months prior to even slab going down, because we need to make sure that we then have all those plumbing stacks implemented into the field for slab, for the guys know where they need to run things for second floor. Then appliances affect cabinets and cabinet layouts. Plumbing affects cabinet and cabinet layouts. Countertops affect cabinet layouts and how thick, if you're doing like a 2cm. So everything affects everything in the field. And so when we get those selections finalized, every subcontractor that touches also gets all that information. And that's part of the job, is making sure that everybody gets that information so that nothing is missed and everybody has the information, so that there's no, I didn't get that, oops, we need to adjust this in a change order. Everybody has all the information up front and they know how to move forward.
That's a huge part for people to understand too, because how our process is, like it's very defined and what we've always done too. And you've kind of made it your own, and then now Mackenzie's making it her own, Liz made it her own. So it's like, but it's that kickback that we've gotten. It's like, why are we selecting these things so early? Well, there's a reason behind it. But then the positive feedback we've gotten, and one of the clients said, and you might have heard this, but your process can be very overwhelming, is what they said, but it's overwhelming in a good way, because you guys literally check everything. You don't just put it through. You don't just put through what's on the plans. You're questioning, you know, asking if we want that, if we don't want that, are we going to change the elevation in this way? Because there's so many small little details that go into these homes, from the door hardware to the way drywall looks to the way tiles laid, to, you know, just to name a few. So go into that a little bit, those small details that people kind of don't understand about what you do, and why you're there to help guide that a little bit.
Well, I mean, any element that's going in, working one-on-one with the clients, everything needs their approval before. So anytime I'm questioning something, or I'm thinking this would be a nice change from linear AC vents, hey, this is a nice upgrade option, thoughts, would you like me to price this? Or I've already presented pricing, and is it worth it for you to implement that into the design? Everything is a back and forth between the selections coordinators and the clients, and bouncing those ideas off, exterior detail changes. This is what the blueprints and your architect had drawn up. Would you like to change any elements? Here's some recommendations. The designers, you can always, if they haven't initially thought of it at that stage, reach out to them. It's like, hey, are you happy with the exterior of the home? Or would you like to present some change ideas for the clients to consider? Just because you have the architect and you have the blueprints doesn't mean you have to go 100% to all those details. If you love it and you want to do it that way, then yeah, 100% we can make that happen. But we're a custom home builder. We can customize it if you decide, I found this cool idea, I want to change something. So
yeah, and it's such a huge thing too, is like, because all those little steps, all those little changes too, all those things, like even catching things late, fixing them, making them right. Like there's so many things that we deal with on a constant basis, that you deal with on a constant basis too, that, you know, needs to be addressed. And because they are custom homes, like every home we build is different. And that's what I tell everybody that comes through that door in our initial, you know, talking with potential clients, is I'm like, no home we build is the same. We built the same maybe footprint, but it's changed inside some way, somehow, and the tile selections, everything is per what you want. It's not a track home where it's 3 choices. This is what you get, take it or leave it.
Right.
You know,
you want to move a wall, you want to remove a door, you want to shift your kitchen. We
it
can
could
do
be a
that.
pain
It
in
could
the
be
butt.
a pain in the butt, especially when those changes are requested, depending on. But we can put our minds together and we can.
But and we do it. We take care of it, and and we can get it accomplished quick. You know, we have the resources to do it. It's not easy, and especially on a finished house. But and we've had that happen a few times where people see reality versus a blueprint, and they're like, and this is not really working the way I want it. Can we shift this? We've had designers do it too.
Yeah, and I think that's what's beneficial too for our selections meetings too, is after having done it for so long, I bring up some of those questions when we're going, because that is the stage, especially during like first round, second round, of when we can make some of those changes. So getting used to this role, getting into it, and knowing like when to ask questions to be more beneficial so that they don't pop up later on in the build has been quite helpful.
Well, I think reflecting on that too, it's a learning experience for everybody, right? We just had one, and I'm not going to say the name. She's probably going to watch this, but where the door swings into the drawers, right? You know, referencing that like for the future, whether or not the client wants a swing door or not, that's where we need to come in and question, like, is this the right move?
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that, like where they also rely on our expertise to find these things, but we don't always, you know, see those things too, because when you're building 5,000 square foot houses, it's hard to catch everything. But we go through these experiences to learn and get better, and to where, like, reflecting on what you just said there, like every house is different. Every house we learn something. Every house we can come back during the selection phases or these initial meetings and be like, you sure you want to do that?
Right.
You know, because this is going to do this. This is going to end up like this, you know. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, maybe we should do it the other way.
Having those things pop up as you've gone through builds with other clients and knowing how to make recommendations based off of issues that have popped up is also beneficial, because that's learning by not necessarily failure, but by obstacles and things have popped up with other clients is beneficial to future clients, because now we know what to look for with certain circumstances in the builds.
Yeah, for sure. I want you to talk about too, like that next phase, like after the selections are done, like how you operate with the superintendents. Go into that a little bit so the clients understand like that connection there and how you're running, you know, like everything's getting pushed out to them, and we're operating at a smooth pace most of the time.
So after we get bids approved, after I get a signature and sent off to the subcontractors, anytime I have signed bids or I'm communicating those initials with our subs, the either project manager, Bobby, Matt, Mason, they are always looped in on my emails. I want them looped in on any changes, any emails with signatures or approvals, so that they know what to expect coming into the home, because that's going to be their part when those subs are reaching out to them to schedule their site visits, their installations, questions. And then, of course, there's usually questions from Matt, Mason, Bobby on things getting implemented. Okay, where's this tile? Just confirming this is where this tile is going. Just confirming that this is the exterior detail changes that you had finalized. Even though that they're on those emails, there's always that cross-reference, double checking, triple checking with me to make sure that it is implemented the way that it's supposed to be in the field.
And it goes a long way, because that goes back into the learning experience too. I think through past jobs, past things that have happened too, we've really refined those processes, and we still are. I mean, you know, we're using software now. You guys are trying to learn that. It's not easy to learn, you know, because you're used to one way of doing it. Now we're trying to do it another, and the more we can have in writing and have on our end and communicate to the client, the better. And that's what we've figured out over time. Even with the superintendents now, communicating out in the field to them too, because the clients, yes, they like to talk to me most of the time if there's a problem, but most of the time they want to talk to the people out there that are out there on a daily basis, that are out in the field working. And I think that them talking to superintendents too relieves a little pressure off of you, because a lot of the time they do call you as well, and then now they have resources to go out to the supers, and but just getting that clarification down the line of, you know, where it just comes back, we sign off, we're good, then it goes out, has been good. And I think our process has been good. It always can get better. What advice would you give to a client that's preparing for the selections process?
Prepping for the selections process is go into it kind of prepared, but with an open mind as well, because once you actually get to those showrooms, you get into it and you're going to see other options, and it can be a little overwhelming because of the amount of options. But if you have a design, you have an idea, that is helpful. So come prepared with ideas. Doesn't mean that you have to be like, this is what I want to do. You can have options. If you know exactly what you want, that's awesome. If you don't, we can look at all the options to kind of narrow it down for you. I've gone through plumbing selections where we've had 4 different kitchen sink options that we had to narrow down. So it's not a be all end all right at those selections meetings. It's to narrow things down and try to then go back and forth with each other to finalize everything. The selections are typically over a 3-day period, so that can be a lot as well, especially for clients who have to fly down for it, which most of ours do. I always just tell them prepare for that, because it is a lot to pack in those 3 days, especially round 1, round 2. They're full days. I usually like to give little breaks in between, but it's kind of a marathon when we're doing it. But that's what you have us there for, is to take the photos, to document everything. And really, we're just going to showrooms and getting you excited about building your home, getting all these beautiful details picked out.
I've been to a few of them, and I think overall, I mean, a lot of the people have fun. You know, I think we make it a good time too. I mean, I find it funny when people are trying out toilets and stuff like that, you know, testing them out and sitting on each one.
Getting in the bathtub, making sure it fits. You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. So, but there's a lot to it. And if we could make it, you know, less overwhelming to people, that's kind of our goal. And yes, like you said, it is in a 3-day period. We want to knock it out as much as possible. But at the end of it, I think they're like, okay, I'm actually glad we got that done. Well, you know, and coming prepared, that's a huge thing too. You've said that to some of the people I've met with as well. And I think it's huge. Like if you can go on Pinterest, you can form, you know, like a little book or whatever of somewhat of ideas that you're looking for. It goes such a long ways, because once you get out there, you have those resources that you can be like, I kind of am looking for this. Okay. Well, there's the tile that you like. Okay, I don't really like that. Well, here's one that's similar, that's lighter. Boom. Let's take it.
Obviously, if you're not using a designer, doing that initial research, pulling those ideas to kind of give us, when we're working together, a better idea of how to navigate our selections, so I can be like, okay, for say your master, this was the kind of a concept image that you had sent over. Now we can kind of just not look at all those other tiles, but kind of narrow it down to the tiles that work within that concept, so that it's not as overwhelming to fill like 500, because there's so many things that you can look at, so many ideas. But if you find a great concept, coming prepared with those elements, it's definitely helpful to us and them to kind of make sure it doesn't get overwhelming. If you do have a designer, then you have that great backing too for her to be like, love this element of that concept, but here's how I want to build it out. So either way, you've got backup.
This was good. Great job. So thanks for we finally got her on here and she did great. So appreciate you, Kelly. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you on the team too. Couldn't say enough good things about you. And thanks for doing this. And you'll definitely be back in again. So so be prepared. With that being said, guys, you know the routine. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow on YouTube, go to the past episodes, and then also all podcast platforms. You'll get this one on there too, and we will see you guys on the next one. The Real Build is about building better culture, leaders, visionaries, community to better serve the client. I'm your host, Bill Ryman, your broker builder, and I'm here to showcase real business owners building companies with integrity, trust, and a commitment to making a positive impact. Join us as we explore their stories, insights, and strategies for success. With that being said, welcome to The Real Build.
This world behind.